really liked me a lot, but I think when I ran for politics, that relationship busted up.
Every room was bugged, and that he did have tapes and information on a lot of different celebrities and people in the music business, people that were in politicians.
Diddy was always going to get arrested. Everyone knew that. But what not many people knew is that even he was seemingly a pawn in a much larger game. A game that he tried to play but ultimately ended up losing. You see, he tried to take aim at some really big names: athletes, preachers, celebrities, and even allegedly the President of the United States.
Working for Diddy for 6 years trained me to have to be perfect.
Working for Diddy?
Absolutely.
I love Diddy. You know, he's a good friend of mine. He's a good guy.
He expects.
Is he a good guy?
I don't want to answer that question.
Oh, wow. I
don't
think
know.
he's a good guy. I'm going to stick up for him.
Now to Sean Diddy Combs' investigation. New surveillance video shows Combs being taken into custody in a Manhattan hotel last week.
Where does this all come from? Well, the evidence has been in front of us all along. All we had to do was connect the dots.
So when this happened, when the raid went down, everybody thought Diddy was running. Everybody thought he was gonna go to a country that doesn't extradite, and they were kind of comparing it to like Russell Simmons. How Russell Simmons went to a country too.
Right.
What'd you think?
Well, I think that he wasn't gonna go no, they knew where he was at. They got your phones tapped. They're gonna stop your flights or whatever. They knew exactly where he was at. I don't think that when they have a warrant, a search warrant for a residence, is not for a body. If they had one for a body, they would have brought it in. Now, if they would have went there and they found guns, drugs, and Diddy was there, they would have brought him in. You know what I'm saying? They would have brought him in, like they brought his sons in. And then they want to know, well, why are these unlicensed guns in the house? Who drugs do these belong to? All those things like that. But a lot of people probably believe that, you know, they just want to know, and the government want to know what things those people were doing on those tapes and who was doing shit on those tapes. Because I heard they found like 250 cameras or something like that.
That's what they say. They said they found a lot of cameras.
Right.
There's a lot of rumors about him recording some of these parties, and he's using a lot of this stuff for blackmail, like a lot of celebrities, even as far as politicians. You know, I think even Little Rod said that Diddy had every room taped and bugged.
Right. Well, in his affidavit, his deposition that he gave to the courts, he said every room was bugged, and that he did have tapes and information on a lot of different celebrities and people in the music business, people that were in politicians, and like I said, in other platforms, people that was in the ministry, allegedly.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Now, if the feds got their hands on these tapes, you could very well see like a domino effect of coming down on everybody.
It depends on what's on the tapes.
A former bodyguard of Diddy has come forward with some bold claims about what really went on at the music mogul's parties. He says Diddy had incriminating tapes of politicians, princes, and even preachers who were in attendance.
This tape that's being shopped around, a Diddy and another male, they say the other male is an A-list celebrity.
I would wonder if he's white or black. And if I'm looking at any black guys that are A-listers that's bigger than Diddy, is only one that I could come up with. And there's a few I could come up with. Will Smith, he's bigger than Diddy. I would think Nick Cannon is bigger than Diddy. Who else on the black that are black actors or black in the business that's an A-lister that's bigger than Diddy that's black? That's hard to think. But then if you got the A-listers, you know, you got to realize he ran with that that Rat Pack, and I don't even say their names because they said I got their names wrong last time. What's his name? Kushner? What's the other guy? Leonardo? Yeah, his name. Man, I don't keep up with these cats, but I heard that that's not only the tape that's being shot. There's some other tapes out there, other people too with him. And him doing some things with some other people. So it's quite a few tapes that might be out there, what they're hearing. And I don't want to see the tapes, but I want to know if they really true. Because if they got if they got some tapes out there and it's with some underage, whether it's celebrities or not, it's gonna be crazy, bro. It's gonna be real crazy.
Hey, everybody know ain't no party like a Diddy party, so.
Yeah, that's what's up. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
In an interview with The Art of Dialogue on YouTube, Gene Deal revealed how far Diddy's alleged activities might have gone. Deal explained.
So you feel like they might be worried that they might be on tape at one of Diddy parties doing something they wasn't supposed to be doing?
I think that the celebrities that may be worried is because what Lil Rob said. Lil Rob said in his affidavit that Diddy had every room taped and bugged. Diddy had, can you imagine? He had every room taped and bugged, and they found little bugs or little tape recorders. Those micro projectors or whatever like that, or video cameras. They found them in the house, bro. So by them having those things in the house, and people know there's drugs, there's alcohol, there's loose women, there's loose men, woman on woman, man on man. They just wondering who or when they're gonna let this stuff be known, if it's on videotape.
No, they gotta be shook, man, after finding out he was recording everything.
But not only celebrities, I don't think it's only celebrities gonna be shook. He had politicians in there. He had princes in there. He also had a couple of preachers in there.
You personally, you think they got tapes?
Well, my personal opinion that if Lil Rob could be trusted and his statements are true, they got him. They got tapes and stuff.
When asked why Diddy's media team has been so quiet about the accusations, Deal suggested either they took part in some of the stuff that happened, or they're scared that it may mess up their brand. The former has definitely since been confirmed to have been true.
I was excited. Look, this man is one of the most powerful, one of the most influential, so it meant a lot to me to actually have the opportunity to work with somebody of that magnitude. We had a laundry list of items that needed to be with us at all times. You know, we'd have their marijuana joints on us, we would have the mushrooms on us. We had a kind of a Diddy pack is what they would call it, and we would keep a satchel on us, and that's what we would have in that satchel.
Always on call, Phil witnessed many things he now wishes he hadn't. He says he worked on the periphery of Diddy's now infamous parties known as freak-offs, although he knew them by another name.
They were referred to me as Wild King Nights. And what a Wild King Night was when him and a guest would go to a hotel room or be at his home, his bedroom, and they would have intimate gatherings. I would have to go and prep that hotel room, which consisted of baby oil Astroglide, candles, incense, liquor, lights, tons of toiletries, drugs.
Phil wasn't in the room for the parties, but he didn't have to be. He knew exactly what went on behind closed doors because one of his jobs was deleting the very incriminating videos of the Wild King Nights from his boss's iPhones and iPads.
I thought he was this clean businessman who rise to the top because he was such a powerful and smart, educated man. I had no idea that he had this other side to him. And when I started to get exposed to his lifestyle, I started to really realize, like, this guy has an addiction. It's not just, once every few weeks, it's every day, every hour.
Hey, yo, Phil, can y'all come straighten it up over here? Not looking luxurious.
During another interview, Deal went deeper into the federal investigation. He explained that after Cassie's court case against Diddy, prosecutors were likely to step in because some of the details in her filing pointed to criminal activity. According to Deal, once that information was public, investigators could use it to build a case. As the raids played out, rumors spread that Diddy might try to leave the country to avoid charges. But Deal dismissed that, saying federal agents knew exactly where he was. Deal also said the raids weren't about arresting Diddy immediately, but about collecting evidence. Reports suggested that investigators found hundreds of cameras in his homes, fueling speculation that Diddy had been recording his guests without their knowledge.
You think certain politicians, you think certain actors, actresses, they drink and smoke and we know they love pink cocaine? You know they got weed all in the air? They dropping ecstasy pills, they dropping some other kind of sexual pill? Man, do you think he ain't got nobody on tape, bruh? So now, can y'all go get those tapes? If he was blackmailing Cassie and Cassie's mother had to give him $20,000 for her tapes allegedly, you think he ain't bribing nobody else? Or people ain't worried about that shit? That they gotta do business with him? Because they know what they did at the Diddy party? So those tapes was important. And the federal government, when they showed some of the stuff that was happening in there, you could see the jury cringing.
The investigation is still unfolding, but if what Deal says is true, the story could get much bigger, and a lot more names could be dragged into it.
I will tell you that you do fantastically well.
Yes.
Just tremendous. You really, it takes a tough guy. Hey, it takes the brains and it takes the this,
Yeah.
but it also takes a toughness.
Yeah, I go to bed like 4 o'clock.
Well, I really like you.
Right now, there's a lot of talk about whether Donald Trump is playing a role in Diddy staying behind bars. Some people believe Trump may be holding back on helping Diddy because of comments Diddy made about him years ago. It wasn't always like this. Back in the day, Trump and Diddy were seen at the same parties, calling each other friends. But when Trump entered politics, that relationship changed. In a 2017 interview, Diddy said he didn't care about Trump. And in 2020, he went even further, saying that white men like Trump need to be banished. He also called Trump's removal from office the #1 priority.
If this man is elected, we're not standing by no more getting killed. We're not scared of anybody standing up and standing by. We're on the verge of a race war. White men like Trump need to be banished. That way of thinking is real dangerous. When you look at it, we don't have no choice. You know what I'm saying? You can say what you want about Biden. I can't say I love to pick either, but hey, we got to get him in office.
Those comments are now resurfacing. In a recent interview on Newsmax, Trump said he thinks Diddy is sort of half innocent after his federal conviction in July. Still, Trump admitted that pardoning him would be more difficult because of the things Diddy said about him in the past. Trump explained, "When I ran for office, he was very hostile. It makes it more difficult to do." This has sparked speculation. Many believe Trump is using Diddy's situation to quietly settle old scores, while also shifting attention away from his own legal battles and controversies. After all, Trump has a history of pardoning people close to him or political supporters, sometimes even using pardons as a way to push back against the justice system. But when it comes to Diddy, Trump is clearly signaling hesitation. Why is that? Gene Deal thinks Trump is afraid of what Diddy knows.
Y'all heard the same thing that I heard. When they raided his house, y'all saw the same thing I saw. They took computers, tapes. You think wasn't nothing on those tapes, y'all? You think they didn't log those tapes? Why did they, hold up. Yo, I just caught a jewel. They used the tape that Cassie sent them. That Cassie had. They used the tape that Cassie had that they showed to the jurors. Why do you think they didn't use the tape that they got from Diddy house? Because that would have them had to log that in. It would have been public record. And at one given time, when it's a public record out of this trial, you could go see it. You could go get those tapes, copies of those tapes, because it's public record. It would have been public record, bro. It's a dirty game out here, man. It's a real dirty game. They are protecting somebody. Why did Damian Wim, the first prosecutor, he trying to put it off on Trump? Oh, Mr. Trump is coming into office, so I'm gonna leave before he get here. Right after he did the Diddy, right after he did the Diddy raid, right after they got the tapes and everything, he retired. Great job. Probably got $1 million house and all that shit somewhere. Because he definitely quit. And tried to put that shit off on Trump. Y'all saw what I saw. Y'all saw what we saw, the same shit. Y'all heard the same thing that I heard. They took over 256, cameras and who had that many cameras in their house? I don't give a how big the mansion is. It's crazy, man. It's dirty work. Listen, I know it's deeper than what we see. I know it's deeper.
With Diddy waiting for his October sentencing, the big question is whether Trump will keep him behind bars as payback, or if public pressure could force him to act differently. Either way, Trump's comments have made people wonder if this is less about justice and more about personal grudges, and about Trump keeping the spotlight off himself, while the likes of Diddy and Charlie Kirk take the headlines, especially since the Epstein saga has become even more prominent in recent weeks.
Major developments in Trump's growing Epstein scandal. Lawyers for the Epstein estate submitted the convicted offender's so-called birthday book to members of the House Oversight Committee. Those documents were released by the committee just minutes ago. This afternoon, Democrats on the panel have posted what appears to be Trump's lewd birthday letter to Epstein, originally reported by the Wall Street Journal this July. It has not been obtained by NBC News. The letter features an imagined conversation between Trump and Epstein in which Trump tells him, "May every day be another wonderful secret." Before the letter's publication, Trump insisted it never existed, even sued the Wall Street Journal for billions of dollars. And yet, the White House is doubling down, with Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt insisting Trump neither drew nor signed the picture, adding that Trump would still pursue his defamation suit against the Wall Street Journal. But this letter, it is just one part of a bigger picture.
Here we have the evidence, and they're now saying, oh, this is all made up, it's a Democratic hoax. But what it says to me, aside from what, Caroline Leavitt has to say standing in front of the podium, we know she's shilling for Trump and she will lie for him. But we see this with our own eyes. We know by now Donald Trump's signature. Not too many people can forge that signature. And you mean to tell me people were forging that signature back in the day for Donald Trump? I mean, so all the credibility around this that they're trying to strip away isn't working. The question for me is, and I'm wondering if it's the same for you, is how much this affirms the nature of the relationship between Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein. Because I know if I'm sending someone something like that, they are bro. We run hard together. We got jokes. We got inside jokes. We know things about each other that we don't talk about in loud spaces. That's what that drawing says to me, that there's a relationship here that Donald Trump just does not want the curtain peeled back on.
And he's not the only major figure gunning for Diddy, it seems. There's a growing belief that Diddy's downfall might not just be about his own actions, but also about the powerful people around him who wanted him out of the way. Singer Jaguar Wright, who's been outspoken about Diddy for years, sat down with Piers Morgan and didn't hold back. She called Diddy one of the most dangerous people she's ever met, and even described him as the devil, but she also hinted at something much bigger, that Diddy had too much dirt on too many people, and the moment he looked like he might cooperate with the FBI, some of those same powerful names turned against him.
To live through these things and hear your elders in the business, people like Patti LaBelle say, just avoid him, honey. And being taught to be just avoid him, honey. It's not good enough. Not when you live through these things, you're still suffering the PTSD created by all of this, and you're talking to a victim that's 20 years younger than you, and she's telling you the exact same thing that happened to you.
So
you want to know why there's no vindication for me? Because for 4 years, I've been screaming, not just Diddy, but Diddy and Jay-Z are monsters. And the victim-making machine kept going on.
Jay-Z has been notable by his silence since these charges were brought against Diddy. Why do you think that is?
Because that's what he does. He starts little fires everywhere, forces everyone involved to go and carry water while he sneaks away without a response. That changes now, Sean. You must respond. You have no choice. Harvey Weinstein, Jeffrey Epstein, Robert Kelly, Sean Combs have one person in common, professionally and privately. Sean Carter. This has been a fist of tyranny that has been punching through.
Wright argued that Clive Davis, a legendary music executive, was Diddy's greatest teacher and helped shape him into who he became. She suggested that Diddy wasn't working alone, that he was designed and guided by bigger forces in the industry. Suge Knight, speaking from prison, had made similar claims before, saying that Davis, along with Andre Harrell and Russell Simmons, pushed Diddy in dark directions. What makes this theory explosive is who else might be connected. Jaguar Wright has long claimed that not just Diddy, but also Jay-Z had secrets to hide. She pointed out that while the Diddy scandal has been all over the headlines, Jay-Z has stayed quiet. According to her, that silence might be because Diddy's troubles could easily spill over onto him.
Right, there's been a lot of rumor mill about what has happened in the rap world. A lot of allegations that the misogyny in the lyrics clearly was based on a general misogyny towards women away from the music. And that clearly seems to have been borne out by these charges against Diddy, which if he's found guilty of all this, he's never coming out of prison. How dangerous do you think?
Thank God.
How dangerous do you think he is as a person?
I think he's one of the most dangerous people I've ever met. A lot of people have been questioning, well, she doesn't really know him. She has no knowledge of him. She doesn't have a picture with him. I'm smarter than Claudia Jordan. I would never take a picture with the devil. Everyone knew he was the devil. He's been the devil for 30 years. He's been covered and protected by not only Clive Davis, but Lucian Grange. He was selected to be the demon that he is, to keep the culture in line so the industry could continue to bid for all of its precious jewels. We have too many lost. The list of lost is ridiculous, and everyone knows Diddy was selected for this job. He has no choice. His ego and his drug addiction won't allow him to do anything different. Anybody who thinks he's not going to talk is crazy. The simple fact that he's not saying more now only means that the people who have been protecting him all along, who put him in position to be such a horror to the Black community, still find value in him. He's got everybody on tape. They all know it.
For those who were never at these freak-off parties, what were they like?
See, this is the thing. Everything that I'm about to say to you is not my firsthand knowledge. It is my firsthand witness account experience. I was a sex worker. I was a dominatrix before I got my record deal. That's how I know how the dark world and the sex world and the entertainment world run hand in hand. That's why the movie Blink Twice is so important. Salute to Zoe Kravitz. The sex workers that I have worked with throughout the years and continue to work with even to this day have worn hidden cameras. I have my own tapes. I've seen what they do. The ritualistic behaviors, the drugging, putting girls in the suitcases, dumping them in alleyways. It's horrifying.
If that's true, it raises the question, did those people move first, setting him up to make sure he never got the chance to talk? For now, Diddy is behind bars, awaiting sentencing. But if Jaguar Wright and others are right, then his story isn't just about one man. It could be the tip of an iceberg that involves some of the most powerful figures in music, politics, and beyond. What do you think? Let us know in the comments below.